Welcome back to the Dividend Diplomats YouTube channel, everyone. You got your boys, Lanny and Bert, the Dividend Diplomats. Today, we are going to be talking about a Dividend Aristocrat that is on the verge of becoming a Dividend King. So get ready, get hyped, get excited. This stock is on fire. We both own it. We can't wait to talk about this company and run them through our metrics to see if they are a stock to buy right now.
Guys, they're climbing their way to the top, the king of the ring, the very sacred territory of being a dividend king. You have to be out there as long as companies have been 50 plus years. And the fact that you can do that by growing earnings, growing dividends for that long is impressive, guys. But smash the heck out of that subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up. Make some noise. Show some love for Bert, the Hurt, and Lanny over here, guys. Let's get to 20,000 subs. Let's blow the roof off of this YouTube channel, guys. But man, Bert, we both own this stock. You own a ton of it.
Yeah.
I own a ton of it. And it has been a great performer. Is it time to buy this stock right now?
Let's see how Archer Daniels Midland, ticker symbol ADM, is performing. You're right, Laney. I own 112.93 shares of ADM. So this is a relatively large position here for my portfolio. So
$8,800
yeah.
plus to be exact.
Yeah. So we're going to get it up to 10K. Who knows? Because that's part of it. Let's see how the metrics are going to look. But first, let's talk about the financials. It's been a little bit, they're going to release earnings at the end of July. So this will be an interesting one because they are so involved in the food sector. They are so involved in our day-to-day life, whether we realize it or not. We're not buying ADM branded stuff off the shelves, but you better believe ADM products find their way into everything that are on the shelves of the grocery store. Between the processed syrup, the bean, the soy, all that stuff, ADM is behind all of it. And that's why we love this company.
They're behind the scenes, getting their tentacles into everything here, guys. And again, they've been around. They're necessary. They are a must. They're going to keep growing and keep building here. And obviously, as population continues to grow, and people need to eat. Period. So ADM, Bert. I mean, this stock is actually up 66% over 5 years, up 8.5% plus in the last 52 weeks. But thank goodness they are down right now, 13%. And are they about to show some very strong dividend stock metrics? We will have to see. Because what are those three metrics we are going to, put them through? What's that triple threat match?
That is the PE ratio less than the S&P 500, payout ratio less than 60%, history of increasing dividend, and that bonus metric, the dividend yield. So those are the three. We're going to run them through. And then afterwards, we'll talk about their last quarterly earnings and they're a little bit on their balance sheet once we get through the screener. ADM closed at $78.20 for DPS, $6.94. That gives you a PE ratio of 11.27.
I'm really liking what I'm seeing there, especially from that valuation standpoint. And what looks even better though, Bert?
I don't know. You tell me, Chico.
Hey, yo. Honestly, it's going to be that dividend payout ratio, guys, because they pay right now $1.80 in dividends per share, obviously spread over 4 quarters. The payout ratio right now is less than 26%, and that's again very, very sound, very solid. Because guess what, Bert, as this parlays into your third metric here, they show that they can do this at a very heavy clip.
Yeah, their 5-year growth rate's 5.38%, and they've increased it for 48 consecutive years, meaning they've been through other recessions before, they've been through booms, they've been through busts, and they've still managed to increase that dividend for nearly a half a century. That's what's so cool about ADM and so many other dividend kings out there.
And, really they speak to that because just recently, at the beginning of the year, their dividend increase was 12.5%. So more than 2 times what they typically do. Why? Because there is future growth for this company.
Yep, and we'll come back to that once we look at the earnings too, and you'll be able to see why they were able to increase it. Back in January, their yield after the company's down 13% year to date, their yields climbed to 2.3%, which is below their 5-year average yield though. It is below at 2.72%. So that second metric, that side metric that we do to show undervaluation isn't showing signs of undervaluation right now for ADM since their current yield is below their 5-year average.
Now, again, we've already showed what the stock price has done this year. Again, down 13% this year, up 8.5% plus last 52 weeks, up over 65% last 5 years. So, Bert, you know, let's take a peel back, like you said, at the last quarter, the first quarter that they released back in April of this year. Everything looked really good, but let's just hit a few metrics on the head here.
Yeah, so these are all going to be quarterly results, Q1 23 compared to Q1 2022. So same period year over year. Revenue was 24.1 billion versus 23.65 billion. So check revenue growth right there. Gross profit went up 2.08 billion versus 2.9 billion, which I do want to pause on that one for a second, because how many companies have you seen where gross margin and gross profit has gone down because of increased costs and not being able to pass that on to the consumer as much? So ADM has bucked that trend, which probably is the reason why they can increase that dividend so much in January. How did it reflect on the bottom line? 1.2 billion earnings versus 1.06 billion last year. So ADM's firing on all cylinders right now from an earnings perspective.
Yeah, EPS just has grown. Net income's grown, gross profit has grown, revenue has grown. You have to love that, guys. Now let's get into the balance sheet a little bit, because obviously right now with high interest rates, debt is a very scary thing. It takes away at your cash flow. It takes away at some of your liquidity here. But current ratio, which is current assets over current liabilities, ADM says, hey, no problem, because it's at 1.5x. But then when you take out the inventory from the current assets, Bert, I would usually like to see over a 0.5, close to 1 if we can. Obviously, we like over 1 on the current, so they check that. But the quick ratio is very nice too.
Yeah, it's 0.9x. So it's there. It's almost at 1. They're almost liquid even when you take out the inventory. So a lot of cash, a lot of short-term pieces, and they don't have a lot of short-term liabilities on the long side of it too. So that's a very fascinating piece.
Yeah, the trajectory of the long-term debt has gone down since last year, almost 3 billion. So their cash flow can only improve. Your operations can only improve. You can do much more when your cash isn't committed to the long-term debt payments.
Yeah, and I love it. So think about this, everyone. Debt decreased from to 10.6 billion at 3/31/23, down from 13.1 billion the year before. So a huge debt payment over what, 2.5 billion there, a debt decrease. But then they still were like, we're going to increase our dividend on top of that. So we're paying down debt, we're paying out a nice dividend already, and then we're going to juice it up another 12.5% in the same year. So it's a cash flowing machine right now for this company.
So, guys, in summary here, all metrics are going up. Debt and current, all those ratios looking great, looking better. Low P ratio, low dividend payout ratio, great dividend growth streak, Undertaker style here. Though they only yield 2.3%, the combination of the great ability to grow that dividend obviously is very appealing. For what's your hot take on what you want to do with ADM stock? Is this a stock to buy right now?
Yeah, I'm going to add it to my watch list. I think it's a very good one to put on your watch list and keep growing that position. I joked that I wouldn't mind getting it to 10,000. That wouldn't be a bad mark. Have it if you're going to have a company that's going to be such a large position in your one portfolio, a company like ADM, an almost Dividend King, one that is so ingrained in your daily lives with how involved it is with food, it's not a bad option. It didn't make the cut for our top 5 foundation dividend stocks, but I bet if we had to do a reevaluation and said, let's expand this to 10 to 15 foundation stocks, I guarantee you ADM would be very highly considered for that 6 to 15 range.
And no doubt about that. I'll keep it on my watch list as well, Bert. Would love to see them near that 75 mark and then maybe start nibbling a little bit more there. What about you guys? Are you guys buying ADM stock right now? Is this a stock to buy here in July at the current metrics? What other stocks are you buying or looking to buy to finish off this month? Bert, what are some other parting words for the dividend investing community?
Let's just keep buying. Always be buying, everybody. Let's get to financial freedom. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Give the video a thumbs up. And remember, if you're not with us, you're against us. Jack.
That was Bert and Lanny from the Dividend Diplomats, over and out.